So for this project, I started with an 11 by 11 inch frame. And this frame had previously been prepared. I prepare all my frames the same. I flip it over, I take the backing off, I take the glass out, I clean the glass up, and then I put ELMER'S glue all the way around the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass sits. Then I replace the glass, and then I put another layer of ELMER'S glue around the perimeter again. Glue serves two purposes. It holds the glass in place and helps to prevent any resin leaks when you put resin on the other side. It needs to dry overnight and up to 24 hours depending on how much glue you use. Next, I went to the computer and I printed up free butterfly clip art, and I printed it out in the size I wanted. Then I took it and I taped it to the back of the glass, and I flipped it over, and this is what I used for a template to place my jewelry. So to start with, I wanted to put jewelry around the perimeter of the butterfly just to kind of outline it. And so what I did was I took ELMER'S glue and just made little dots all the way around and then placed the necklace around it. And this is actually part of a necklace that I had taken apart. I try to pick up jewelry from garage sales and thrift stores whenever I can at decent prices, and sometimes I do buy beads and different things from Michael's. So these are all just pieces of different necklaces that I use for the body of the butterfly and the wings, and I'm messing around with the pearls and the different beads here for a minute, and then I decide I'm going to make a little pattern, and I end up taking the beads out and doing a little pattern around part of the perimeter of it. And like I said, this is all just little pieces of jewelry. I think it's easier after you get your outline set up to take the butterfly or whatever you're doing off the back of it. That way you can really see what the colors look like, because that orange and pinky color was kind of distracting for me. So here I'm just messing around with all the jewelry until I figure out exactly what I want. And again, I use a little more ELMER'S glue because I'm going to make a little pattern with some of the beads, and I really don't want them to roll around. And even though it looks like I'm doing this really fast, I probably take a good half an hour after I get the perimeter on it, messing around with the different beads and that. And one thing that I did find that was easiest was when I got a bead in there that I didn't want, I would take a little piece of tape on my finger or on the end of the toothpick to pick up the beads that I didn't want, because otherwise everything went everywhere. So after I was done with that, I had to make you could see I already started by putting some glass at the bottom, and now I'm putting it all over it. And then I decide it would probably be in my best interest to do the resin first and then put the glass around the perimeter of it. And like I said, if I had to do it again, I think I wouldn't put the glass around the perimeter. So here, the long strands of glass are called vitrograph glass, and you get that on Etsy. And I'm cutting that up and using that for the very end of the tail and for the antennae. After that, I was ready for the resin. I did not mix the resin up on camera, but I did use art resin, the 1-to-1 ratio resin. It's one of the resins I seem to use all the time. I think it has one of the most UV resistance. Anyway, I used a stylet to put it on. I think that's what you call those. It's kind of like a dropper. And I just dripped it over the pearls because the blue beads had, they were kind of iridescent or sparkly. And I was afraid if I put the resin over it, it might lose its sparkle. Some jewelry does that. There are some things that if you put resin over it, they won't sparkle anymore or have the iridescent qualities. So I just was very careful to try to put it just over the pearls, and I knew that I had put enough on that it would seep under the blue beads and hold them securely in place. So once I was done putting that on, then I started putting it around the perimeter. And again, I know they say resin is self-leveling, but you really have to push it up into the corners and around the edges, or you will end up with some empty areas. And then I used the heat gun to get rid of the bubbles, and there were quite a few bubbles. And after that, I used Ashland decorative filler, which is in that big container, and you can pick that up at Michael's. It's reflective glass, very tiny, very pretty. which can also be dyed different colors if you like. And then I had some little pieces of celestial glass that I spread around over top of the Ashland decorative filler. And then I covered it with a dust cover. Then it needs to sit on a level surface, temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Overnight, takes 24 hours to cure. Hey everyone, here's my butterfly. A lot of times when you put glass around the outside like this, it's hard for the camera to focus. So I'm gonna bring it up. I think I'm gonna do another one without any glass around it, but you can see it better if it's up against a wall. And here you go. I think that looks so much prettier with it up against the wall, or this would even look real pretty on a canvas too. That would be another way to do it. But this one was real easy to do, and actually the only glass on it is around the outside. So when it's up against a wall, I do like the glass around it, but if you're gonna hang it in a window or something, I think it's kind of harder to see. I think next time I'm gonna try to do it without putting any glass around the outside and see what it looks like. Anyway, that video will be next. Hope if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be notified of future videos, subscribe. And I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.